How many answered prayers have you not received? Is it 5? Is it 10? Do you even know? Because you're always praying, but you're not checking to see if I truly received the answers to prayers that I asked for. So you send up a prayer, it comes back from heaven to you as answered. But for some reason you just cannot receive it. You just cannot see. Karina, in the movie Always a Bridesmaid, was always a bridesmaid. She was never anything else but a bridesmaid. And she wondered when it was going to be her turn to get married. And would it ever happen for her? So she sends out a prayer to God that I want to be married. For the longest, while her mom was ill, she was helping her father care for her mother. She was there being with her mother and being everything to her family while her mother was sick. And so it was now time to fall in love. It was now time to move forward in her life. And why not? Everybody, her age group, are moving forward. They are going on to the next chapter of their lives. I was going through the next chapter of my life, or hoping that I was, through my healing process, and wondering, how is it that I feel healed, but yet I still feel stuck? Karina's prayer was answered, and this man came in the form of an old college friend or associate that she hadn't been in touch with in the longest, but Mark had always liked or always had a crush on Karina, but Karina never knew. But now, destiny had brought them together at a friend's wedding. She was at a place to receive this because all her friends had downloaded dating apps to help her. Her pastor had been canceling her on dating more and, getting to know what she wants. And so Karina decides that she wants to date Mark and wants to get to know him more. And she lets down her guard. Or did she? Did she truly let down her guard? Why did Karina say no to Mark's proposal? Her past pain. Mark proposes to Karina, but Karina says no to Mark. And I wonder why Karina said no. See, in my journey of healing, I realized that not often, I'm lying, but that I found myself comparing myself a lot to a lot of people that I admire and that I want to do the work that they do. I found myself comparing myself to them in that my writing is not great. My writing is not as emotional or gripping or engaging, comparing myself. And so I still wasn't writing. I kept trying to figure out, how is it that I am healed, but I'm not writing? See, I've always written from the time I was 7 years old. I've had plays that have been produced and written a film that is currently being worked on. So it wasn't making sense to me that now that I have prayed for healing, how is it that I'm not writing? What is stopping me from writing? But I would make the excuse of life is just really challenging right now. life is just really hard right now, so I'm not feeling inspired to write. But was that really it? Was that, if I really assessed the patterns of my life, was that really the reason? I have worked 2 jobs and I have been able to write whenever I got done at the end of the day. I made it a point to always write. So is it really that life is super challenging? So Karina really needs to get into her headspace. She had told her brother that she never wanted to get married. She had had experiences with exes that were awful. Her father cheated on her mother, which created a strife between her and her father. And so Karina had found herself with this belief that she's not destined to be married. And so she said no to Mark. And he was not happy with that because he loved her, flaws and all. But you know what? Karina couldn't believe it because she was still stuck in the past. Now, realizing after she had said no to his proposal that she wasn't her mother, she wasn't her family lineage that said that their marriages don't work or they stay stuck in marriages that they're not happy in, she had to forgive herself for saying no to a good man that checked the list, to a good man that wanted to be with her, flaws and all. She had to forgive herself for that. When I finally got the answer to my question about why I was not writing, I was in awe of the answer. The answer was, I wasn't writing because I was still comparing my writing, my accomplishments to other people. The bells went off. The bells rang and I finally got the answer. And so what do I do now? What does Karina do when she realizes that she was letting her past self, her past experiences, hold her from going forward into the best life that God has for her? She finds Mark and she apologizes to Mark, hoping that he would forgive her as well and move forward. I had forgiven myself. I had to forgive myself and apologize to myself for wasting so much time on comparing myself to others. And then I had to make a different choice, that I'm no longer stuck. And so I have to go forward. So Karina made a different choice by going to Mark and apologizing and saying she wanted to be with him. But Mark insisted that it was too late and he didn't want to be with her anymore. But eventually, he came around. Now, I have to be intentional about my healing. And although 2 years later, Karina did say yes to marrying Mark, she has to be intentional in unlearning all the things from the past that she had tied herself to in order to go forward. I have to unlearn all the things I had learned in comparing myself to others. And know that my writing might not be for everybody. But one thing I have learned is that it heals me and it just might heal you. whoever is reading, whoever is listening. It just might heal them. And there's no bigger satisfaction than that. There's no bigger reward than that. And that is because I choose to receive my answered prayer by being intentional about my healing. Karina was intentional about her healing. So she said yes again to Mark the second time. 2 years later, after she truly believed that he loved her, flaws and all, and that she could love him, flaws and all. Have you wondered this about the past? The fact that the past is in the past. It has no power unless you grant it power to control your present and your future. When Joseph was in prison and he finally got free and met his brothers, and his brothers were ashamed that they had put him in prison or sold him as a slave. But he told them that the evil they had planned for him, God had worked together for his good. I am here to tell you that everything that happened, all the hurt, all the pain, is not wasted, but that God uses it in order for your life to be glorified in Him. And so I write on. I'm intentional about every week putting it on my list to write, and to stop comparing myself like I used to in the past, comparing myself to others. I refuse to give my past so much energy or so much power. So should I ask you again? How many answered prayers have you not received?